are required, both customer-facing and then business models in terms of video operations. What went wrong on the 3G side, in particular around 3G mobile broadcast technology, such as what's been offered with Qualcomm's MediaFlow, is they really got the price point wrong on that, and as such, they did not get the level of uptake that they wanted, not nearly what they wanted. New business models refer to having much more transaction-based models available, tiered business models, a convergence of prepaid and postpaid, etc. On the video operations side, there's going to be many different ways by which these systems are built, and deploying things like managed services with strict LAs and network sharing are all on the table as it relates to the cost-effective delivery of video services. Which brings us to a poll question. I wanted to give the opportunity to the audience to answer this poll just to get a sense as to where everyone's coming from here. And the question is, what are the biggest challenges operators must overcome when delivering 4G video experiences? So I'm going to pause just for a few seconds, allow you guys to submit your answers, and then we'll see what we get for a result. And so while we're waiting for the results, it is important to note, though, that while we are on the 4G path, 3G networks will continue to be used, continue to be monetized by operators. So the 4G networks that we talk about really are serving as an overlay to those existing 3G networks. So much of the issues and techniques that will be discussed on the call today about optimizing the 4G experience really apply to 3G as well, in particular when we start talking about things like HSPA+. Okay, having a bit of technical issue on the poll results. Let me see if I can work with this.
Brian, this is Monica.
Yeah.
I might see if I can.
Yeah, if you could assist me, Monica, that would be great.
I will see if I can do that. Meanwhile, let's see.
And so meanwhile, why don't I move on to my next slide, and then if we get the results,
Yep.
we'll push them as soon as we can, okay?
Sounds good, yep.
Oh, and I just saw that we have them there. Oh. My apologies for this. Okay, excellent. So the results are in. So we have a resounding majority that vote for network capacity congestion, which makes sense. And I would also had anticipated that pricing and business models would be the second choice. Although I would even argue that network capacity congestion would potentially be on par with getting the pricing and business models correct. The technology is going to be there. If you look at what's possible on LTE in terms of oversubscription around normal video use, they're pretty compelling operational dynamics, but really it's about how much of that video traffic on my LTE access network is going to be something that I can monetize. Okay. So if we look at our revenue forecast for mobile video, this is just to say that this is not by any stretch a trivial market opportunity. This is multi-billions of dollars. We see that the European market will drive the most amount of growth here. But, you know, the video is going to come in multiple different flavors and formats. We don't really have time to talk about all of the formats today, but it will be unicast, multicast, and there will still be some opportunity to deliver broadcast services. But by anyone's measure, it is a large opportunity. Now, here's the rub. So why would content producers, so the actual owners of video content, want to work with service providers versus just go directly to the consumer in an over-the-top fashion. And here is where the operator is really in a position to bring forth its assets to the table in terms of bringing a quality of the experience, seamless multi-screen capabilities. By that, I mean I start watching a show at home, I need to catch a train, I'm able to seamlessly transfer that video in a store and forward way to my handheld device, and essentially provide a experience that is well beyond what's possible for me just accessing data on Hulu, accessing video on Hulu. Service providers also have a proposition to bring to the advertising stakeholders as it relates to, again, that context about who I am, where I am, and my ability to track ad delivery and then feedback results. They also have a direct billing relationship with the consumers and users, which makes it much more seamless and less friction when dealing with transactions. Other areas, of course, they have the channel to market. They have the ability to create more revenue streams for the content owners as it relates to content, premium content services and revenue flow. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. You're going to have, and if you think of the video head end and ownership of that head end as one barometer of this, network operators are going to have the head end. They're going to lease content from content aggregators. Content producers themselves will have their own systems. And really one of the barriers is getting all these systems to speak to each other seamlessly in a standards-based way. But really the message here is that at every part of this ecosystem, there's a requirement for high-performance infrastructure, which is really sort of sets the stage for the rest of the presentation and the players on the call today to talk about how to build that high-performance infrastructure in a way that's cost-effective and also gives an advantage in terms of time to market. And so to set the stage for the next speaker, I've been actually personally watching the adoption of COTS-based or commercial off-the-shelf hardware platforms, standards-based operating systems like carrier-grade Linux, and standards-based middleware like SAF Forum and Go-Ahead software for a number of years. Now, the context of looking at that has really been about what can equipment manufacturers do to drive the cost out of the non-differentiated parts of their solutions. So there's a lot of momentum in this part of the market today. We see that this momentum continues to grow and is of particular interest in the context of 4G video delivery. So with that, I'm going to transition now to Bill Yeaman, who introduced himself earlier, but his position at Go-Ahead Software really provides us someone with feet on the street as it relates to the transition to COT. So I'm going to pass it off to Bill.
All right, Brian. Thanks so much for the introduction as well as the insights onto the market. What I'd like to talk about today is really some of the key requirements that lay into multi-video ecosystem and making it a carrier-grade environment. So first and foremost is really ensuring continuous availability, as you'd expect, 5 nines availability, despite hardware, software, human errors, or communication failures. Now, the bulk of what we'll talk about is to achieve that 5 nines availability. Focus is really going to have to be not only at the node level, but also at the application, the cluster, including the OS and the middleware, as well as the hardware levels, and then looking at all that within context. Really, this means that we can achieve this by following what we refer to as the automated fault cycle, which is really delivering on deterministic policy-based fault modeling by understanding when faults occur, isolating those faults, recovering from them, repairing them, and then ultimately moving back to a position of health. And I'll talk a lot more about this later and how HA middleware can help facilitate this and, as Brian mentioned, drive cost out of the equation and accelerate time to market. Another key requirement in this space is systems management, and really framing out a single coherent system that you're managing as a whole, managing from a configuration management standpoint, administrative standpoint, alarm